Welcome back to DeChamps Rants and Reviews. I'm Mark DeChamp Deschamps, and today we're going to be talking about that Xbox Developer Direct that just took place, and it was a pretty interesting show. Some really good stuff, and if you know me at all, if you've been following the channel, you probably have a good idea of what I enjoyed at today's show. So to kick things off, Xbox showed our first real glimpse at Forza Horizon 6. Not the big thing of the show that I really enjoyed, but I will say I like Forza Horizon 5. I was a big fan. I reviewed it a few years ago. I was really blown away by it. It was my first exposure to the franchise. I was fairly new to the Xbox brand when I reviewed that game, and I came away really impressed. And I have to say, from everything that Xbox showed today, this might look better. Honestly, so Forza Horizon 5 was set in Mexico, and the new game will be set in Japan, which seems to look really promising. As they said very often in today's developer direct, there's a very big history of car culture in Japan, and it looks like the new game is very much going to honor that, and I think that's smart. Like, it seems like a really cool way to build on on the Forza Horizon brand, and I came away very impressed with what was shown today. The game's coming out in just a few months, so that's really exciting, and we won't have to wait too much longer to see how it turns out. The Forza Horizon brand was like an Xbox exclusive for a long time. We saw it come out on PS5 last year, and it seems like that series is starting to build up like a big multi-console fan base. So this could be a big hit in 2026. I'm excited about this one. The big game though that I was most impressed by today, and the one that I was most excited going into today, was Beast of Reincarnation. Now, if the name isn't familiar to you, the reason that I am excited for this one is that it's a new game from developer Game Freak. Game Freak, for the uninitiated, is the developer that specializes in the Pokemon franchise. Game Freak has been making Pokemon games almost exclusively for decades now. Now, I say almost exclusively because Game Freak has done a lot of other things, and they have done a lot of games that have been released on platforms outside of Nintendo. One of the best examples is Tembo the Badass Elephant, which never came out on Switch or Wii U or Switch 2, nothing of the sort. So it's not that unusual that we have a Game Freak game that is coming out on, platforms that aren't Nintendo, but this is like one of the biggest and most ambitious games that we've seen out of Game Freak, that's not Pokemon. I'm very intrigued by it. Like, this looks like a triple A, game. Usually when Game Freak does things, it's side projects. We've seen stuff like Drill Dozer, which I adore. It's a great game. We don't tend to see things that are single player action RPGs. So it's really interesting that they're working on this. If you're a big Pokemon fan, you can breathe a sigh of relief. This isn't them, moving away from making the franchise. They like to do these side things. They've talked about it a lot of times over the years. They are always trying to challenge themselves and do new things, and this looks challenging and new. I'm super intrigued. The only thing that I thought was really weird was the fact that they announced today that it is coming to PS5. They did not announce a Nintendo Switch 2 release. However, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to have a Nintendo Direct probably in the next 3 weeks, somewhere around that, somewhere in the next few weeks. Usually they tend to have them either at the end of January or sometime in February. So there's a chance that Game Freak will have an announcement at the Nintendo Direct. Maybe this is coming. Maybe it really is, a PS5 and Xbox exclusive. Regardless, it looks great. I'm very excited for it. I can't wait to see how this thing turns out. And yeah, looks good. The third game that was shown off today was Kiln, a new game coming from Double Fine. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's really interesting. I like the art style. It's very unique. It's a unique concept. I don't know if this one's for me. Um, But the guys at Double Fine, they've got a good track record. The art style is really unique. The whole idea of creating like these pottery creations for an online multiplayer game, it's a fascinating concept. I don't know that it'll be for me, but I'm willing to be convinced. So we'll have to see how that one turns out. The final game that was highlighted today was Fable, and this game was announced so many years ago by Xbox, and it's one of those things where, you know, Xbox has unfortunately canceled a lot of games far into development. It's been one of the biggest problems that Xbox has faced in this console generation. So people could be forgiven for thinking that this might have fallen through the cracks or been quietly canceled, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. It looks good. Personally, I've never played a Fable game. I'm as I mentioned earlier, I'm fairly new to Xbox. I bought my Series X in 2020, and that's the first Xbox console I've ever owned. So I've never played a Fable game. It's hard for me to have a basis for comparison as a result. But the feedback from fans seems pretty good. I don't want to say, as somebody who's never played Fable, like, oh, this looks amazing, and then have some Fable fan go, yeah, but it didn't have this, that, the other thing. So from an outsider perspective, I thought it looked pretty good. It didn't, by that point in the broadcast, I kind of started to lose my attention a little bit, but I'm hopeful. And so far, I will say 2026 is looking like a good year for Xbox. It's unfortunate everything that's happened over the last few years with the brand and with the fact that Xbox consoles just aren't selling. I love my Series X. I'm a big fan of it. It's one of my favorite non-Nintendo consoles I've ever owned. I've used it a ton over the last 5 years. So it is unfortunate to see Xbox struggling as much as they have. But, you know, regardless, whether you do have an Xbox or you have a PS5, it looks like you're going to have some cool things to check out from Xbox Studios. This was a good showing, I thought. And I've thought that the last few shows that Xbox has had have been pretty good. The thing about Xbox that we've come to realize is you can only trust so much that the games that they're announcing and showcasing are actually going to get released. But the fact that these are all fairly well into development, they all have release windows, means they're all probably pretty safe. Anything beyond 2026 is a big shrug. That's just how everything goes with Xbox these days. But I thought this was a good show. I'm excited to see how these games turn out, especially Beast of Reincarnation as a Pokemon fan. And what's so great is that we are getting not only Beast of Reincarnation this year, but we're probably getting Pokemon Gen 10 by the end of the year. So Game Freak's going to be real busy this year. So if you're a Pokemon fan, you know, don't worry about this. Don't think you're not gonna still get your stuff. And it'll be cool to see what Game Freak does outside the franchise. This is a big ambitious thing for them. So hope it turns out really well. Let me know what you thought of the Xbox Developer Direct in the comments. Hit me up on social media. I'm on Blue Sky at MarkDaChamp, MarcDaChamp. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. I love talking about video games on this channel, in case you haven't noticed. And we're going to have so much to talk about in 2026 with Nintendo, with Xbox, with PlayStation. There's going to be a lot. So if you are a subscriber, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're not, please think about sticking around, because I'll have so much more to rant about. Thanks so much for watching.